Hello, hey, and how are you? Bet you weren't expecting that. Yep, this is my voice. This is me. Hi. Oh, camera shakes. Oh, hair. Oh, okay. Anyways, I'm gonna paint today. Well, I painted yesterday, but whatever. I'm gonna use this Artist Loft jelly gouache. You know, the one that went viral a few years back. Anyways, um, uh, yeah, I already used this, but you know what? We're gonna paint today, and we're actually gonna put effort into it. And oh, shiny, shiny. Um, I didn't use these paintbrushes, and oh, sticky. Um, I'm actually gonna try today. I'm actually gonna, clean water and a little bathtub for my dirty water. Little bathtub. And then also, I have these paintbrushes, but I also have more in case I need the other ones. They're just there. And then I got my gesso, to prime the paper or whatever, gesso. And then we got my Prism colors and oh, my ring light. I'm gonna use that for sketching. Just open. Okay. um uh Color, yes, red. We're gonna go with red, cause go back. No, okay. We're gonna paint an apple today. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm gonna paint an apple because oh, there it goes. I want to paint an apple and I want to try. So I'm gonna paint an apple because I want to. Yep, just so. Again, goodbye. Now, and here I got my kneaded eraser. I keep it in the slow tin to kind of keep it clean and safe from the world. Little baby. And I disappeared. That's great. Well, see you guys. I wanted to run off. Am I gonna come back? Hello? No? Am I back? Nope, that's just my shadow. Come back. Oh, and I'm back. Hello. Color pencil. I got the spray bottle to spray my paints. I'm pretty sure this is the spray bottle you use for hair, because it's the missing one, but it's all I had. And you work with what you have.
Okay, so now we get into the sketching part. Apple shape, because they're apples. Little stick here, little leaf, and I tried to lighten up my sketch with a nude eraser, but it didn't really do anything. But I didn't really notice at the time. And we go in with a darker outline. I kind of regret this. I wish I would have left it lighter. That way you can really see it on the edges of the painting. And I tried to erase it one more time. Did absolutely nothing. And I decided I was gonna use a new paintbrush from Artist Loft because I think I deserve to. And I might put up my reference photo if you guys want to know what picture I used. Anyways, we're gonna start off with red because the reference was red, and little hair going around the outline. Having some fun. Sorry. I don't really have steady hands, so this was a little bit of a challenge for me. And that might have been too much water, because I don't really use gouache that much. I don't paint that much. I usually just draw. If you've seen my other videos, I usually do it on the iPad. But you know what? We're gonna give it a good try today. We're gonna try our best, and oh, there goes my clean water. We're gonna try our best. We're gonna hope it turns out well. Clean up these edges a little bit. No, we're gonna spray the blues now. So I went in with this like kind of darker blue. The moment I put it down and I looked at it, I immediately regretted it. But did I stop? No. I just went for it. I think the problem was that this blue was like way too dark. Cause it looks like on camera it looks almost black. And I tried to lighten it up with this like lighter blue at the edge of the palette, but it didn't. No, it did not look well. It did not look pretty. What was I doing? I don't remember why I showed the camera that. Anyways, I tried to blend it out, try to salvage it, and I decided it was a no. So we went back over with like the red. That's a really nice red. I like that red. Blending. Nope. It's okay. We're just gonna move on, and we're gonna try to do like the lighter parts of the apple. We're going lighter. I think my favorite part about this was like the highlights and stuff because they looked really good. The shadows were like they were pretty hard. Oops, I forgot to put gesso. Oh well. Anyways, um, the highlights I feel like they were coming out pretty well. And they're just so shiny. Look at it. It looks like a real apple if it didn't have that like mess up the other edge. What was I doing? And why is that there? I don't think that highlight is supposed to go there. Whatever. It was late at night. It doesn't matter. I tried more blending. Try to get the dark blue out of there, and it still didn't work. So I think we went back over with the red. Even after like a couple of layers, you could still see the red because the red I was using was like really watered down. But I kind of liked this look because it made the blue kind of blend in with the red and look less like intense. And we let that dry. It took a break. We let it dry so we can try to fix that edge right there with the dark blue.
Oh, and this color pencil I forgot to mention. It's the Premier Prismacolor, and it comes in the color crimson red. So there's that. Anyways, I cut back into the shadow with the same red that I used for my base. I try to lighten it, like not too much, but at least enough for it to seem like it's in the same color vicinity. I regret using the water because it just made it more thin, and you can see it, the blue still peeking out at the top. I add some more red, try and like add almost like a glaze or a transparent layer on top, because I wanted the hue shift, but I didn't want it to be that dramatic, you know? Instead of the blue, I went into this sort of purple color. But this purple, it was like not mixed at all, so I had to really put my hands in there. I mixed this purple like quite a lot, and I started applying it, but I barely had any on the brush because it was mostly on the sides. So I grabbed my little palette and I used it to scrape off the paint from the sides and get it more on the tip of my brush so I could try and get that sharp angle. And I used like just a little bit because I wanted it to be like a very light color, but clearly I ended up using too much. The purple kind of mixed with the red, which I kind of liked. It made this little maroon color, and it really fit with the color scheme. But I used too much, so I went back in with the same red, that I used for my base, and I try to blend that out. Since I went a little too eager with the purple, I use water as well to try and blend the whole thing together, the shadow and the highlights. And I took a break. Once I came back to my break, I decided that the purple was not enough, that the shadows weren't like deep enough, so I went back into the purple, and I added some water, and I went back in on the apple and try and get it a little bit darker and more purple instead of like a dark brownish color. And then I went back to the highlights because the purple was starting to frustrate me. The shadows were frustrating me. I used the dry brushing technique here to try and mimic like the texture of the apple, as well as like the little lines when you have on the shine. Checking the dryness of the paint here. And then I went back in with like this bigger brush with the base color again, because I made it way too big once again. And here I was just trying to blend both the shadow and the mid-tone together. Here I grabbed my little plastic palette knife, and I grabbed some yellow to try and mimic that little like lines on the apple. And I really liked how that turned out. It looks so cute. And a little realistic, not too much, because but I like that. It looked really nice. And then I went with my little brush to try and kind of dry brush that again. Oh my god, I'm adding the same highlights where it's not supposed to. Stop. No. Stop. This is hurting me. But it looks I did that yesterday. I did that with my own two hands and decided, yep, that's okay. Yep. I don't remember if I went back into it to remove that highlight. I hope I did, because that's don't like that. Anyways, I decided to move on to the stem, because clearly it's having a little trouble with the apple. I got the little yellow, green, brownish kind of color. And then we're going back into the apple to try and define that little bump where the stem is supposed to come out of, or well, a divot. I don't know what it's called. I remember hearing it once, but I don't remember anymore. Anyways, I got some of this like deep red brown, and I started shading the stem with it. Now I made a mistake. I accidentally painted the like where the stem is cut, the little circle flat. Yeah, that I painted it darker than the stem. And I looked at the reference. It's actually supposed to be lighter in color. So I got some of that same color I used for the base of the stem. And I got some white, and I mixed it together with my palette knife. And I used this color. It looked fine like on the palette, but when I used it, I realized it wasn't really popping as much as I wanted it to. So I washed my brush, and I got a little bit more of white, and I mixed it back into the little mixture I made. And I like this color a lot more. It felt more like what you would see on the inside of an apple stem. Once I had that settled, I went back in with the purple to try and define the little divot of where the stem is coming out of the apple, but like on the other side, if that makes sense. And then I got a really light like yellow green, or is it green yellow? I think it's yellow green. I got some I got a more yellow green, and I use it to blend it into the color of the stem. I saw it in my reference photo, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. So stop with the highlights. That's not where it goes. You know, I'm seeing this highlight in the reference photo that I use, and I think now that I'm looking at this reference, I think it's an AI photo, because this is it doesn't make sense, because some of these items are like blending in with each other, or they just stop completely. You know what? I think this reference photo that I use is an AI photo. Well, you know, I already painted the apple. Next time I'll check my references more thoroughly to make sure that I'm not using an AI photo, because man, that confused me a lot. That was rough. No wonder why I kept putting the highlight in the wrong place. Anyways, I use this like sort of darker green for kind of the veins of the apple. I honestly think they were a little too prominent in this stage. So afterwards, I went back with like yawn. Sorry, excuse me. I got this like deeper like blue green, and I used that for the shadow of the leaf, and I dry brushed some of the same yellow green on the top to try and make it look like that was where the light was coming from. And I went back in with the purple to kind of shade the apple under the leaf, because it just didn't feel right. I also added some blue under there because I wanted a more, how do I say this? I wanted more variance in that tone. Although I probably should have gone with a warmer shadow for that, since the greens that I used for that is pretty warm. After that, I went in with like some white paint to try and clean up the edges, but you know, it's gouache. If it touches something wet, it's gonna start blending. And I also went with this like deep purple color that's on the edge of my palette, and I think that I like that a lot more. Actually, I think it really brought it together. And of course, little white highlight. And I got my Prismacolors back out. I zoomed in. You can really see all the messy edges. I got out the colors that I thought would be, you know, the best match. And I checked to see if it was right before I started hatching with my color pencils. I really liked doing this. It just felt so official, you know? Like it felt like I was a real artist and not using like, you know, my digital tools. I really like the texture of the color pencils on the gouache as well. The texture looks really cool on camera. I'm glad you could see that, because the texture was pretty fun for me. You can see like under that apple, like under the leaf of the apple, you could see the highlight is a little too purple. Oh, the white highlights. Oh, that was amazing. It looks so good. I would 100% eat the apple. I try to go in with a white Posca around the edges. Try and, you know, remove the little unclean edges. But, you know, once again, the wet thing touches gouache, it's gonna start blending. And it was like I was blending the gouache out with my Posca pen. So I gave up on the big one. I did try to smudge it with my fingers, and it did sort of worked, but then I got paint all over my fingers. And then tried to go around the leaf and the stem with the thinner Posca, but this pen was like almost the liquid came out, but it wasn't paint. I tried to clean up the edges one more time and I gave up on that. And then I accidentally shook my pen and I dropped some paint on my apple. I tried to smudge it off, but as you can see, some of the gouache did like wipe off, and it upset me a lot. But I didn't want to go back over it with the paint because I knew that would just be like a really long process. So I grabbed my no, not a Posca, Prisma. Sorry, I grabbed my Prisma and I went back at it. Before I settled with it, thought it was good enough, and I just left it like that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this little video. I meant to make it a lot shorter, but things happen. Originally this video was an hour and 30 minutes, so getting it down to 21 minutes is amazing. Anyways, signature. Yeah, that's it, I think. Yeah, bye.